phone rings after 9 at night, and you don't recognize the number, but you pick up anyways. And the second you hear the voice on the other end, your stomach drops. It's your daughter, and she's crying. She tells you she's been in an accident, she's scared, and she needs you to wire money right now. You see, every instinct you have is screaming at you to help her, and you do so. Now, here's the part that should frighten all of us. That wasn't your daughter. That was a stranger sitting at a laptop, possibly thousands of miles away, using a recording of her voice scraped off a birthday video she posted online. And with a little more than 3 seconds of audio, criminals can now build a near perfect copy of someone you love. And they are using it to empty bank accounts belonging to people just like you. Now, you've spent decades building something, a career, a nest egg, a business, a future of your family. And then you have a target on your back that most people never think about. Today I want to talk about how people who want to take what you've built are getting smarter, they're getting faster and far more convincing, and exactly what you can do to stay a step ahead of them. You see, this isn't about fear. It's about being prepared. I should tell you why I care so much about this. In my work, helping families manage and protect their wealth, I've had a front row seat to what happens after the worst occurs. I've sat across from the table from people who do everything right with their money. They've saved diligently, they've invested wisely, they've planned carefully, and then watched a chunk of it disappear in an afternoon because of one phone call, one click, one moment of trusting the wrong voice. And the hard truth I've learned is that protecting your wealth isn't only about the market and the tax code anymore. It's also about protecting the data that sits behind all of it. So let's get into it. And let's start with the scale of what you're dealing with, because the numbers are genuinely staggering. Last year, Americans reported losing more than $16.5 billion to internet crime. And that's just what got reported to the FBI. The real figure is almost certainly much higher, because most people are too embarrassed to come forward. And when you fold in identity fraud and scams, which is more broad term, one major study put a total cost to American adults at $47 billion in a single year. And here's the part that matters most to you and me. You see, the people who lose the most are not who you would expect. It isn't riskless 20-somethings. The single hardest hit group of adults are the ones in their 60s who've lost close to $5 billion in 1 year. Now, why is this? It's because that where the money is, the criminals go. You see, criminals are professionals now, and they do their homework. And someone with real assets, a strong credit profile, a lifetime of accumulating wealth is, frankly, a much more attractive payday than a college student with an empty checking account. So that's the problem. Now let me show you why it's gotten so much worse so quickly and what we can do about it. And here it is. In a word, artificial intelligence. You see, not long ago, a scam was usually easy to spot. The email had typos. The accent on the phone didn't match. The story fell apart if you asked one good question. But that era is over. And the same kind of technology that lets your phone finish your sentences is now being used to fake reality itself. But let me give you a sense of how far this can go. The one case that made headlines recently was a financial employee with a large sum of money from the company was tricked into wiring $25 million after sitting through a video call with what he believed were his colleagues, including the chief financial officer. And every face on the call was fake. Every voice was generated. And he was the only real person in the meeting, and he had no idea. Now, think about it. If a trained professional in a corporate financial department can be fooled by a fake video conference, then the late night phone call from a panicked family member is child's play by the comparison. And the reason this works isn't that the victims are foolish. It's that these scams are engineered to switch off the thinking part of your brain. And they create panic. They create urgency. The voice you love is in danger. And you have 30 seconds to act. And please, whatever you do, don't tell anyone else. You see, that's the last instruction. And it can be the tell. Real emergencies don't usually come with a gag order. But in the moment, when the adrenaline hits, almost anyone can fall for it. And here's what changed in just the last couple of years, and why you've suddenly been hearing about this everywhere. It used to be that pulling off a scam like this took real skill. You needed technology, you needed the technical know-how, you needed the special equipment, the time, and not anymore. You see, the tools to clone a voice are now cheap, simple, and sold online like any other subscription. And a criminal doesn't have to be a genius. They just have to point to the software and add a few seconds of audio clip, and they can type out a script. And that means the number of people capable of running these scams have exploded, and the cost of trying one on you has dropped to almost nothing. And where do they get the audio? The names, the family details, and all of the lies? Where do they get it that would be believable? Well, mostly it is from us, from what we post. A grandchild's name in a birthday caption, a few seconds of your voice in a video from a family reunion, a photo that quietly tells the world you're on vacation and your house is empty. You see, none of it feels dangerous on its own, but to someone that's building a profile of you, it's a gift. The raw material for the story, tailored precisely enough to slip past your guard. And I'm not saying never post anything. I'm saying understand that the internet has a long memory, and strangers are reading it. And now the dramatic AI scams get the headlines, but I don't want you to lose sight of the everyday doors that these criminals walk through. You see, most of the damage still starts with something boring. A text message, an email, and you've gotten them. A text claiming you owe a small unpaid toll, an email that looks like it came from your bank, asking you to confirm your login, a message saying a package didn't get delivered, click here to reschedule. No, these are called phishing and smishing. Phishing of your information by email or by text. And look more official every year. And the goal is always the same. To get you to hand over a password, a card number, or a piece of your identity. And the most common way scammers reach people now is simply email, and it's followed by a phone call and a text. You see, old-fashioned it is, but it still works. Because once they have a foothold, one password, one social security number, the door they can open really is remarkable. And with your identity in hand, the criminals can file a fake tax return and pocket your refund. They can run up medical bills in your name. They can open credit cards and loans that have never really been applied for. And tank a credit score you spend 40 years building. And they can even turn around and pose as you to scam your own friends and family. And cleaning that up isn't just expensive. It's months of phone calls, paperwork, sitting on hold with agencies that treat you like the suspect. Now, let me make this concrete. Picture a retired couple. Careful people. The kind who balance their checkbook every month, and one of them clicks a link in an email that looks exactly like their bank, just to verify a charge. Nothing seems to happen. 3 months later, a collection notice arrives for a car loan in a state they've never visited. Then a second credit card they've never opened. Then the IRS rejects their tax return because someone already filed using their information. And by the time they untangle it, they spent the better part of a year on the phone, frozen and refreezing their accounts, ages and decades of later in stress, all of this from just one click that felt completely harmless at the time. And that's the part people underestimate. You see, it's rarely one dramatic theft. It's a slow leak that touches every corner of your financial life. And for those of you who've built real wealth, I have to name it a category of risk that most videos won't mention because it's uncomfortable. When you have assets, really of any kind, in a public profile, the threat goes beyond your money. It's sensitive information, it's private emails, it's financial documents, it's personal photos can be all stolen and held over your head. You see? Extortion, blackmail, the threat of public exposure that could damage your reputation or your relationship. And in the most serious cases, the danger becomes physical. And if a criminal can piece together your travel schedule from your calendar, your whereabouts from your smartphone or your smart home, your location from a vacation photo you posted in real time, all of that information can be used in ways none of us want to think about. And I'm telling you this because this scares me, and I know it can scare you. And I'm telling you this because the people who protect themselves are the ones who took the risk seriously before anything happened. And there's a business angle here too. If you own a company, you can sit on a board or invest privately. A single hacked email account or a misplaced laptop can expose contracts, deals, and intellectual property, and then drag you into legal trouble that costs far more than the original theft. That's the hard part of the conversation. Here's the good news, and I mean this. The news really is good. You do not need to become a technology expert to protect yourself. You see, most people who get hurt got hurt through a basic gap, which means most of the protection comes from a handful of basic habits. Now, let me walk you through them. First, the simple online habits. Don't click links in emails or text you weren't expecting. If your bank or the government needs you, you can call them directly using the number on the back of your credit card or the official website. Never open attachments from a sender you don't recognize, and really be thoughtful about what you shared publicly. Not everyone needs to know about your birthday, your home address, or that you're sitting on a beach 2,000 miles away from your house this week. That vacation post can wait until you're home. Second, your devices. Keep the software on your phone, tablet, and computer updated. Those updates aren't nagging you for fun. They're patches in the exact holes that the criminals would use to get in can now be closed. You see, you can turn on automatic updates so you don't have to think about it. Use what's called two-factor authentication everywhere it's offered. And that extra code you get when you log in, and it's one of the single most effective things you can do. And please, stop reusing the same password everywhere. I know it's a pain, which brings me to a tool I generally recommend, a password manager. It's a secure program that remembers a different, complicated password for every account that you have. And you only have to remember just one to get into it. And many of them will also warn you if one of your accounts shows up in a data breach. So, for most people, this one change does more for their security than anything on this list. Third, protect your identity directly. If you're not about to apply for a loan or a mortgage, consider freezing your credit with all three of the major credit bureaus. It's free. You can unfreeze it anytime, and it stops criminals from opening new accounts in your name, which is one of the fastest growing types of frauds out there. Keep an eye on your bank and your credit card statements, and treat any charge you don't recognize as a red flag, even a tiny one. You see, crooks often test a stolen card with a small purchase before they go big. Fourth, don't forget the paper world. You see, shred your financial statements, your medical records, and those unsolicited credit card offers before they hit the trash. And the one phone follow-up rule that will protect you from a huge share of scams, it only gives the personal information when you place the call, a number that you really know. And if someone calls you claiming to be your bank, hang up and call the bank back yourself. You see, a real institution will never have a problem with that. And finally, the one defense built specifically for the age of fake voices, sit down with your family and agree on a safe word, a simple, private word or a phrase that only the people you trust would know. So that if you ever get that terrifying call, the one where a loved one is in trouble and you need money to be sent instantly, you can ask them for the safe word. A scammer with a perfect copy of your daughter's voice will not have it. It costs nothing. It takes 5 minutes, and it may be the most valuable thing you can do after watching this. Now, I want to pair that safe word with one more habit, because together they're powerful. Build yourself a pause. Anytime money or sensitive information is involved, a call, a text, an email, no matter how urgent it sounds, give yourself permission to stop and verify it before you do anything. So, hang up and call the person right back on the number you already have for them. Walk away from the keyboard for 5 moments, 5 minutes. Tell the caller you'll handle it tomorrow. And watch how fast a real request stays patient while a scam falls apart. You see, urgency is the scammer's single most important weapon, and the pause takes it all away. And nobody legitimate, not your bank, not the government, not your advisor, will ever punish you for taking a moment to make sure. And before I let you go, I want to call out a few mistakes I see good, smart people make over and over. Because knowing them is half the battle. Now, the first mistake is believing it won't happen to you. And I hear it consistently. I'm careful. I never fall for that. But these scams aren't designed to beat your logic. They're designed to bypass it with emotion and urgency. You see, being intelligent is not a defense. Having a plan is. Second mistake is oversharing online without realizing the cost. Every photo, every check-in, every proud post about a grandchild, graduation, it's raw material. It's where criminals harvest the voices, the names, the relationships, and they used to build it to convince the lie. You don't have to disappear from the internet. Just assume that anything you post publicly can be seen and used by someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. And the third mistake is treating one password or one lock on the door as enough. You see, real protection comes in layers. The updates, the two-factor codes, the credit freeze, the safe word, the healthy pause before you act. No single one of these is bulletproof, but together they make you a very hard target. And criminals are like water. They tend to flow towards the path of least resistance. And your job is simple. to not be the easiest house on the street. So here's where I leave you. The threat is real, but so is your ability to get out and in front of them. And the families who come through this unscathed aren't the lucky ones. They're the prepared ones. If you'd like to go deeper, we've put together a free report that walks through everything we've covered today in a simple step-by-step checklist that you can actually use this weekend. The link to download it is right below this video. And it's our way to help you protect what you've already worked so hard to build. And if this was useful to you, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like so it reaches more people who need it. And take a look at the other videos we've made on protecting and growing your wealth. We make this content for people exactly like you. So thanks for spending your time with me. Go enable two-factor authentication. Have a safe word with your family. And I'll see you next time. Take care.